soup? Welcome to Tales Tomorrow. I'm Morrow, your storyteller for today. With me, have some more RPG horror stories. But before I talk about that, look at this. This is an emote of Mary. And look at this. This is an emote of me. And then we got this. This is an emote from one of my players from our games called Halt. He's an artificer, and he's pretty cool. One of my players commissioned another one of my players to make some emotes and stuff just for funsies, and the artist ended up making this, which was really adorable. I was sitting in these for so long and I don't know what to do with them specifically, but just want to show them off because I think they're kind of cool. Maybe we'll make it as an emote that you can use if you are a member on the channel. I'm not fully sure. I think we'll try that. Anyway, just want to show something cool. Let's get some RPG horror stories for today. Party got ding dong DM ditched. This is a fresh off the press because it literally happened just an hour ago. I was scouring through LFG looking for a game to join when I saw the listing for a 5e Eberron campaign. Cool! I've always wanted to play an Eberron game. I reached out to the DM on Discord as per his instructions and answer his questions, gets an invite to the server, and meet the rest of the party. There's 6 of us players. Everyone starts making their characters over the course of the next few days. I make a dragon-marked human gunslinger and ask the DM a multitude of questions about the technicalities and lore, but he was super kind enough to answer each and every one with utmost consideration and patience. He did kind of sign off on my backstory with 5 seconds of me sending it, but I just waved it off because it was pretty generic and done before. On the server, he gets the hype on for the players. He has us share our PC pictures, tease us about everyone else's characters, take a bit of party roles and combat strategy with us. It's great. He psychs up with a few hours before our session 0. Asks us if you're ready for and excited. Session 0 is at 8:15 AM for me and it's 4 AM. So you'll probably get some shut-eye and I want to wake up on time. So I sleep. Being so dedicated to the point where you're waking up for D&D is crazy, but also I have Australian players that literally jump on and wake up at like 8 in the morning basically just to play with me, which is crazy. Honestly, they wake up at 8:30 in the morning to play in my bi-weekly D&D games that we get to play together, and I'm so honestly honored to have them there. In return, also do the fair thing and join them as well for whatever they do for my mornings and their evenings, you know, to keep it fair, because you gotta give a little, take a little, you know, it kinda gotta be an equal exchange of pleasantries, I guess you could say. Anyway, let's continue. I'll wake up to my alarm at 7:50 AM and check on Discord to see if people were gathering or chatting ahead of time. The server is gone. The server is gone? The previous server link he gave already expired, so I messaged the DM. Hey, I think I accidentally left the server by mistake. Can I get an invite back? While I wait for a response, I check into the campaign on D&D Beyond to see if I can grab the other players' usernames and ask them if they can invite me back to the server in case I did accidentally leave in my sleep. Stage 1, denial. Campaign is gone! The campaign is just gone overnight. What could have happened in like last 4 hours? I mean, you went to sleep at like 4 in the morning, you woke up at 7:50, just in time for the game to begin basically. What could have happened last 3 hours at that point while you were asleep? Well. Guess he must have gotten annoyed by my questions and thought my character concept was ass, but a straight up rejection message would have hurt less. Shoot the DM a cursory, thanks for wasting my time message. I tried looking the other players on Discord to see if maybe they're still in the server and I was the only one who got axed. Got a hold of one other player who's friends with 2 other people in game. Nope. Server also got wiped for them an hour before the supposed session 0, and they got no response from the DM too. God damn, stringing 6 people along for the whole week. To Aldrin the Grave Cleric, Aspen the Warforged Wizard, and Murg the Half-Elf Rogue, if you see this, reach out. I'd still love to play a game with you and the other players somehow. You guys were cool. To the DM, go screw yourself up a cactus, respectfully. I'm going back to sleep. Dude, I would feel pissed. Imagine you plan for this. You even waking up at so early in the morning to make sure you attend an early game just to make sure you're there. But then it just ghost and just ditch everybody. That sucks. I hope at some point you get some sort of explanation, but thinking the fact that DM didn't respond to you, didn't bother to respond to you. Maybe the DM misread the time zones and stuff and assumed the game would be happening early. Nobody showed up early. Was it by any chance daylight savings the other day? No, it wasn't daylight savings, was it? Maybe the DM just misread the clock, to realize that nobody's on, just close the server down. Maybe they had a sudden change of heart or something. Maybe something traumatic happened. They realized, it's just easier if I just close the server down before doing anything. I don't know, man. That's such a weird way to progress it. If he couldn't run the game, he'd just be like, hey guys, listen, something came up, life came up, massive changes. My cat ran into a car, they ran into a fire station, they ran into a nuclear site. Now the whole thing is just a big Chernobyl area. I physically can't play D&D now. I'm so sorry. And just give everybody a cursory courtesy message to explain why the server had to shut down for whatever reason, no matter how stupid the reason is. But just to ghost people in such a way? Shame. For shame. That sucks, dude. That ruins everyone's expectations, and I'm sorry you guys got screwed over like this. Hopefully you can connect back together. Maybe, potentially. Maybe you'll be able to reconnect. Somebody can shoot DM to somebody else as well, and just you guys can get together to play your own Eberron game without being ghosted like this, you know. Anyway, let's get to the next story for today. I punished my players for solving a puzzle in the worst way possible. To say before I start, this is less of a horror story of a bad player and more of an am I the a-hole post. I just don't know whether I did something wrong here or if the player is overreacting. To give some backstory to this, I'm DMing a D&D game for the very first time. I only played one game of D&D before this in my friend's campaign and thought it would be fun to give it a try. You thought it'd be fun to give it a try of doing the game for the very first time and you weren't prepared and had multiple hours of games running? You are the a-hole. I'm kidding, by the way. I'm honestly kidding. When it comes to am I the a-hole post, I did receive a comment on one of the videos that sometimes people ask am I the a-hole to kind of give themselves kind of soften the blow because they're trying to put themselves in the light of am I the a-hole? But please guys, tell me I'm not the a-hole because I really am not trying to be anything bad specifically. When it comes to am I the a-hole post, I try to give my best, at least my best attempt to try to keep it as fair as possible and to think of it from a broad perspective, not just from the DM's perspective. Are their actions actually being a little bit a-hole-ish, or is it just a miscommunication, misunderstanding, or maybe just everybody sucks here in this situation? Who knows? Anyway, let's see if the OP is the a-hole or not. In the last area my players went to, they arrived at an underwater casino. The area was around the size of a large town, split into two halves, a red side and a blue side. The plot of the area was that the two sides, Red Brother and Blue Brother, were at war with each other, as both sides believed the other side stole their valuables. However, a third party, a girl who both the brother had a thing for, was a legitimate culprit of the crimes, as she had stolen from both of them, with the intention of taking the underwater casino for herself. After some exploration of the casino, my players eventually were sent on a quest by the Red King to infiltrate the Blue King and steal back one of the possessions, a rare purple diamond. Upon arriving at the Blue King's castle, he gave them the same command, to infiltrate the Red King's castle and steal back his golden brooch. Brooch, I don't know how to pronounce it. When they were walking back to the Red Castle to report the findings, they passed a perception check and noticed a small house in the back of the casino. When they asked the Red King's servant about the house, he quietly told them to not say anything bad about the owner of the house, as she was the girlfriend of the Red Brother. Upon hearing this, one of the players, the self-proclaimed main character of the campaign and someone I refer to as DJ, immediately led the party towards the house. They were greeted by a large bodyguard who told them they weren't welcome to the property. In response to this, they broke into the back window of the house and quietly snuck towards the owner's personal chambers. Ha! Classic D&D party. Somebody tells them, don't go in there. They're going there anyway. They looked through the keyhole and noticed a girl sitting there reading a book. The door was locked, so they decided to try to find a key on one of the guards. None of them had one, only the large bodyguard at the entrance had access into her room. They did this by killing every guard quietly throughout the house, before pretending to be the guard at the entrance to gain entry. On a failed persuasion, they couldn't convince the girl to let them into her room, so they instead broke the door down. The group fought and knocked the woman inside the room unconscious and killed the bodyguards outside. They eventually found a note containing a vault key, and upon entering the vault, found the treasure of both the kings. Is the problem here the fact that the players didn't socialize or didn't talk to anybody specifically, didn't roleplay their way out of it and just kind of brute force the situation? Are you upset about that? Wait, don't tell me you're gonna punish the players for that specifically. I mean, yeah, on one hand, they are going through murdering people, so they probably should be excommunicated from the casino in general. And yeah, there's definitely better ways to handle the situation instead of just murder, hoboing, and breaking into whatever you want. But it depends on your party, man. Some party is just full of heads, and that's what you get. So it really depends on the kind of party you're playing with, really. I mean, if your whole party has no qualms about murdering every single bodyguard and breaking through the back entryway and everything and just breaking through the door and knocking a woman unconscious and just stealing things whenever they want to, I kind of feel like if you don't like your party, probably should tell something about their playstyle that you don't like. The party went back to the Red King's castle and attempted to tell him about the discovery. DJ, who was carrying around the unconscious body of the girl that fought at the house, waltzed into the Red King's office and loudly proclaimed to him that they had defeated the woman in combat and found his belongings in her vault. The king grew incredibly angry and sent guards after them to ban them from the casino for attacking his girlfriend. The session ended with the group fleeing the casino and leaving the area, with a plan to head to the next location on their map. DJ seemed really annoyed after the session ended, and when I asked him what was wrong, he said he was upset that I ruined his plan and forced him to be kicked from the casino. I asked him why he thinks it's my fault this happened, and he went off saying that the king overreacted, and that I shouldn't have made him so angry. The king overreacted. The protective king that's already on edge with somebody because he thinks the blue brother stole something from the valuable and has multiple bodyguards placed over the girlfriend's premises to make sure to protect them because he says they're their girlfriend, probably because they're significant other and cares for them. Imagine, if you will, suddenly you waltz into a king's chambers and you have the queen on your shoulder saying, "The queen has attacked me and I knocked her unconscious, but she stole something from you." I don't think the king is going to be like, let me just pause and listen for a little bit. They'll probably be like, "That's my wife, you whore son. Guards, seize him." Like, what do you expect? The king is the king, and kings can sometimes be impulsive, overly protective. In this situation, I felt there would have been numerous ways to handle the situation without just coming in and just be like, "Okay, I'm just coming in with an unconscious body of this king's girlfriend that they clearly care for because I posted a bunch of guards behind them that we just murdered and stuff." Also, how are you gonna explain the fact that you murdered all the guards and broke into the property of king's girlfriend and stuff, especially they're under their protection? Like, what do you expect them to do? What do you expect the king to do? Just be like, "Oh yeah, I understand why you murdered all the guards that are paid specifically and posted to protect my girlfriend and broke into the house of my girlfriend. Yes, let me be very reasonable about it." It would be absurd for the player to assume that the stunt would even work in this situation. But of course it's your fault because the king definitely just didn't say like, "Oh, you coming in here with my girlfriend unconscious? Please tell me more about it. I'm ready to hear about everything calmly and rationally." I don't know if I did something wrong or if DJ is just overreacting. To my knowledge, DJ didn't even have a reason to break into the woman's house, saying he had a hunch that she had her stuff. If I did something wrong or this is my fault, please let me know. I don't want to make a similar mistake in the future and ruin the campaign for my players. The players have no reason to break into the house other than a hunch, and they're only breaking in because they just probably doing that. Probably not the first time or last time they're gonna break into a house on a hunch. They're going through, not even like knocking the guards unconscious to continue going through. They're killing off the guard, trying to break through the door, pretend to be the guards, fail that specifically, break through the door, knock a woman unconscious, find everything in the house specifically. Did they have a reason to explode the house in the first place? Probably not, but they're coming in there carrying the unconscious girlfriend with them, saying, don't worry, king, she's just unconscious because we attacked her and killed the guards at our house," and expect the king to act reasonable and calm and collected in the situation? Yeah, right. Actions have consequences. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. I don't think you did anything wrong in this situation personally, but the people watching the video, what are your thoughts? Let me know down in the comments below and I'll get to the next story for today. Wizard commits acts of domestic terrorism and thinks he did nothing wrong. Characters: Cleric, Wizard, Problem Player, Paladin, Fighter, Monk. This happened a few months ago in my current campaign. The party visited the kingdom's magical hub city to investigate a series of nightmares, madness, and seek more information about the plane of dreams. The Paladin, a new introduction to the party in-game, brought them to his brother, a conjuration wizard who has conducted a sleep study and research about said phenomena. Now, the wizard's sister has been a key player in the plot as she is heavily linked to the birth of a new god, and I've been given clues while trapped in the dream realm and suffering from madness herself. This is the wizard's driving force. Research led the team to an asylum where they intended to question one of the patients who partook in a sleep study for more information. The wizard and monk went undercover as orderlies, and when simply asked where they were headed, the wizard said, "Should we, a boom?" The wizard initiated combat for no reason, which set off a building-wide battle where the rest of the party struggled to make it into the building for aid, not knowing what was happening. This event resulted in the wizard casting a lightning bolt on innocent civilians trying to protect patients from what is now domestic terrorism. Wizard reads spell description, mentions that it ignites any object for being worn or carried. Okay, I describe the asylum catching fire, which becomes a further obstacle. Several rounds later, the wizard player, who we'll call Josh, is confused and upset as to why everything is burning. Like, baby girl, you've read the description. When the player reads the own description to describe that everything is set on fire and then surprised, why is everything on fire? I don't know, why are you casting a spell that sets things on fire specifically in an area that's probably highly flammable? I don't know what's going on. Why are we getting so many stories of like play stupid games, win stupid prizes kind of situation? You cast a lightning bolt that sets things on fire in a very crowded area where people are probably wearing flammable clothing, probably have bed sheets and stuff and everything. They have flammable things. You're surprised because it's setting things on fire. When you initially was like, should we get caught? Should we go, boom? Which usually means, attack and fireball and explosion and stuff. Like, you chose, my brother in Christ, you chose this situation yourself. You chose to create such panic yourself. How are you confused about this? The wizard then attempts to get the patient, Subject G, to come with him. Subject G has been described to suffer from extreme paranoia and is unable to function in society. Not to mention that he's trapped in a burning building with the man who started it all. The wizard then gets extremely upset by this plan is working. Meanwhile, the rest of the party is begging him to leave with them, as the city guard is reinforcing and heading to their location. The cleric, his best friend at the time, is literally sobbing in and out of game while sending him a message to leave. The wizard only says, "Give me a minute." The fighter, observing it all, contemplates shooting the wizard, as this, to him, is way past the point of no return. He is no longer a hero. The wizard attempts to manipulate the fighter with magic, which shocks his player and later prompts him to express said boundary outside game. So the wizard is going to cast big booms at everything and even going to start PvP. Wonderful! What a character. Now, this is the least of the problems. Outside the game, Josh refused to acknowledge that he A. derailed the campaign and essentially ruined what the party was working towards, and B. he genuinely hurt another player, Alex's feelings, and crossed the personal line. Amid this and outside talks of how to handle the campaign situation, Josh simply said that they would blame the paladin's brother for everything because he did a sleep study that drove people crazy and gave them drugs. Yeah, he did that, sure, but you know what he didn't do? Set the entire place on fire. You did that, and then decided to use control magic or some sort of manipulation magic, basically PvP, on one of your party members. You did that. Sometimes actions are consequences. Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. In this situation, your actions are gonna have consequences on right now. I gave him a whole dossier of said study in game, where it was explicitly stated that no drugs were given. At this point, we were unsure if Josh wasn't paying attention or was just using this as an excuse. When the cleric's player asked if he seriously planned on doing this, he actually called her delusional, saying that he never said that. Several screenshots and receipts were shared with him of the previous conversation, and he still denied it. Well, yeah, because committing to the fact that, oh, sorry guys, I made a mistake is the worst thing possible, because God forbid you take accountability for anything you say, right? God forbid you make a mistake or misspeak or anything. Just call people delusional. It's not my fault. He is at fault. Why are you being offended with me? That's not what I said. You're delusional. Because God forbid you take responsibility for doing a dumb. You did a dumb. Take responsibility, own up to it. Just say, yep, I did a dumb. Sorry. Josh still refused to apologize to Alex and began attacking him personally, despite Alex being calm and only trying to establish a basic boundary in and out of game. Several other players reached out to Josh, trying to get through to him, but to no avail. Eventually, it seemed like the two had come to an understanding and agreed to sort things out of character-wise following session. When the session came around, the wizard doubled down yet again, and then started yelling at the player and calling him delusional yet again. Session promptly ended. I attempted to reach out to Josh to mediate and try to schedule a three-way call between him, Alex and I. Josh ignored my message for 3 days straight, then said he was busy. In reality, he was active in other servers playing video games with some of our other friends. After everything, I kicked him out of the campaign, and it's better off without him. He still interacts with us on other servers like nothing happened. Most of us try to ignore him. We'll make another post for conversation screenshots since I can't upload more than one here. That's okay. I believe you. I genuinely believe you. I mean, part of me is more really curious about the screenshots and conversations, but I believe you in the story. Some people just in general, they can't take the fact that they made a mistake and they have to just basically act out and try to pretend like, oh, I didn't make the mistake. You made the mistake. You're the delusional. What are you talking about? You don't know what you're talking about. I didn't say such thing. And just basically gaslight the way to try to basically seem innocent. It takes a lot of cojones. It takes balls to be able to admit the fact that, yep, I'm sorry. I own up to it. I apologize. To be self-aware, to allow yourself to be self-aware, allow yourself to fail and recognize that failing or doing a mistake or doing something wrong, it's the most human thing to do. Everybody's gonna make mistakes. Everybody has those days, as Hannah Montana once said. Was it Hannah Montana? I think it was Hannah Montana. I'm not fully sure. But anyway, everybody makes mistakes out there. The fact that you can own up to a mistake, I think, is admirable and good. And if somebody can't do something as simple as that, maybe it's just best not to have him in your game, honestly. Especially if Josh is gonna act like this. Don't know what Josh is doing. And good on DM to just remove Josh from the game. And with that, that's gonna be all our stories for today. I want to thank you very much for watching, and thanks so much for being here. If you like what I do, consider subscribing to the channel and leaving a like. Also, if the RPG Horror Stories ever goes down, or if you want to submit your own personalized horror story, email is down in the description below. I'll see you again in more Tales Tomorrow. Bye-bye.